The Simpsons Game. Yep, it's a video game. The Simpsons Game came out shortly after the movie and thankfully doesn't follow the movie because around this time this game came out, movie games weren't really the best quality. This game has a very unique story and it follows the Simpsons family, and it starts with Homer having a dream to kind of show off some of the basic controls and actions. Then it leads to Bart having a level, finding out that you were a video game character and having special abilities than Marge and Lisa, etc., etc. After a handful of levels, Earth gets invaded by aliens, and they animate a statue and make dolphins evil. Pretty cool. The simple option to stop this invasion is to find the town scientist, Professor Frink. Discovered he created a portal and was taken to a different world where you meet him, and he tells you your entire life up until this point was a video game. And you are now in the video game engine, where you start to learn your upgrades by getting the strategy guide, but to get them fully, you have to rescue Professor Frink from a knockoff Donkey Kong. Once you get your upgrades, you get to deal with the evil dolphins and Donut Boy. Now in time to defeat the aliens by getting to the ship Retro Style, where you meet Sideshow Bob, and he ends up taking himself out, and the aliens want to block their revenge, where they just start blowing up the town, and the Simpsons look for a cheat guide on the internet and in classic idiot cartoon dad fashion, fuck it up and spill their beer and get sucked into the video game engine and have to stop Will Wright from destroying their past video game selves. Once you defeat Will, you make your way to the theater room. Not sure what to call it really, but your goal is to get to the mansion of the creator of the game, and to get there you have to go through the 4 new Simpsons games through the theater doors and collect key cards to get through the gates into the creator. These are all pretty simple levels, all kind of taking on different video game ideas and concepts. All pretty fun except for Big Super Happy Fun Game. I had a pretty terrible time playing through that level due to the premise, and the enemies were just so annoying. I really just did not have a fun time at all on that. The cool thing is that you come from the game Invasion Springfield, and if you go through those doors, it takes you right to Springfield. Now, I'm not really going to spend any time on those 4 levels, but they make up a decent chunk of the game and are pretty fun for the most part. They all are kind of takes on different themed games, like Medal of Honor, which is Medal of Homer, and they're all pretty fun for the most part. Once you get the key cards, you go to the creator's gates, and after urinating on the creator's lawn, it turns out it's Matt Groening. Groening? I don't even know. Where even he isn't sure of his name. Now, he calls an all-out war for peeing on his lawn. Once inside the mansion, Matt invites some friends to play. And guess what? It's Bender and Zoidberg, which is a very, very pleasant surprise to see them in this game, as personally, as a huge fan of Futurama, and seeing them at the time on a modern console. After the original Futurama game was a low-key flop, and wasn't really manufactured or shipped out for very long years before, and never really had a proper sequel, nor was there another Futurama game generally. So this made me very happy, but I digress. You use both Bart and Homer's abilities to defeat Matt Groening, and once you do, he just shuts down the game engine completely. The amount of fun they poke with Matt Groening is honestly a really fun addition to the dialogue and to the game. Now, you and some extra characters go back to Springfield, and the only logical thing you can do is build a stairway to heaven. Yes, I went there. Once you climb them and get to the gates of heaven, Shakespeare is for some reason the guard, and to get through you simply defeat him. The heaven level is pretty simple. You fight your way against some enemies that you fought in the past, and you have to open the gates on the side to defeat more classic enemies. Use Marge to help you build a second Skybucks coffee next to the other one, and in turn Benjamin Franklin walks out, and again you have to defeat them, and you easily do. After that, you face off against God, and you have to kind of defeat him in a knockoff Dance Dance Revolution, destroying all of his consoles. And once you do, he tells you you are in a minigame within a game within a game, essentially. Pretty much God lets you get whatever you want, and then Lisa asks the dying question: God, are you a video game character? Which in turn, it seems that he is, where Ralph of all people is playing. What an ending. Okay, so that's kind of a shortened version of the story of the Simpsons game. A kind of overlooked game in the Simpsons, I don't even know what you call it, franchise, history of video games, in my opinion. This game really led off the hype of the movie, and honestly, this game is pretty fun. This game is really simple combat, a cliched story, as they would say, with some twists and classic Simpsons jokes. Now, growing up, I played this game on the PS2, which just pretty much took you level to level, cutscene to cutscene, like every other average game. Now, I thought this was normal. Then one day I went to my friend's house where he had an Xbox 360, and it turns out this game has an open world hub. I love this. You get a nice view from what Springfield is like as a character in the show, get collectibles, explore, and even pick a fight with some aliens. At the time, this was very unique, and now you see other TV show games do this, like South Park: The Stick of Truth. The game could be local co-op, could be used to help you defeat levels or get collectibles. This is a game I think, honestly, everyone should play once, even if I think some of the levels are flawed. Some of the enemies are very annoying to play against with a very basic combat system. But again, I digress. I think everyone should play this game at least once, and you can find it for a pretty decent price. I played through this game maybe 100 times and still have fun to this day with it. It's actually a game where I go back to play pretty often. It's a game I think should be left untouched and be remembered for how it was, and maybe remastered, but definitely not remade or anything. Maybe a follow-up sequel. When you bring up a Simpsons game to your friends, everyone thinks Hit and Run, Simpsons Road Rage, hell, even Simpsons Skateboarding. Now, I've never played those games growing up since I never really watched the show, but I would always see those above-mentioned games at Family Video every time I would go to rent a game. I only really played the Simpsons game because I really enjoyed the movie and the game released shortly after it. Pretty much going into the movie and the game, I only really knew the family and maybe one or two other side characters. I did watch one of those Treehouse horror specials when I rented it from Blockbuster one time. Yes, Blockbuster. As well as I read some of the comics that were around during that time when they were weirdly sold at my Scholastic book fair in elementary school. I think the Simpsons game captures what the Simpsons was all about. Stupid, funny plots with good old humor while bringing the family together. So if you have an Xbox 360 or PS3, I recommend that you somehow get a copy of this game in your hands and throw it back to the good old days.